So hey guys, hopefully you don't hear too much background noise like always, but it is a beautiful day when I'm doing this audio. So I have like all of my windows open and I have my like front screen door open. Don't worry, like Bings can't get out or anything, but it's just like, oh, it's such a beautiful day and I'm just enjoying the natural breeze. And on this beautiful, beautiful day, I was reminded of the magical time that I left the only art club I was in high school. And might sound weird how like that just happens, but this is the kind of things that I talk about when I'm like almost anything inspires me. It's very very true. And so I had like mentioned I've talked about this story vaguely in live streams in the past. Usually when I'm talking to like my friend Bree because she is much more of an anime artist. And so I think it's really funny, and it's also how different things are now compared to when they were back then. I sound so fucking old, but like when I think about it now, it's like almost been 10 years since that all happened. Like in 3 years? Yeah, in 3 years or so, you know, it'll be like my 10-year graduation anniversary, and I'm like, I'm so crusty, and I'm blah. But anyway, so we're gonna go down a fun timeline of why I quit my school's anime art club. Now you must be wondering the very basic obvious of, well, Michi, it's clear. I mean, you don't really do anime. You do more of a weird fusion style, or it's your style. A lot of people don't know what to call my style, and I'm just like, cartoony kind of. I don't know. But not there's anything wrong with it. But I was a huge weeb back in high school. Huge, huge, huge weeb. And so freshman year, me and my itty bitty group of friends, we were all little anime nerds from middle school, and we found out that my school had an anime club, and we were like, oh, there's an anime club. There's other people who read mangas and like watching the Naruto's and all that good, Toonami, all that good. God, I sound like such an idiot. But yeah, that kind of fun stuff. And so my little group of friends, so sorry for that. My little group of friends and I, we joined up, and everything was really fun. We got to learn a lot of cool anime from this club. The president was super chill. Everybody got along. We didn't really get cliques, and we were all like together in one of the old science classrooms. So sometimes it'd be really cool, like if there were any leftover science experiments, like when the kids would make ice cream, or they had uh not nitroglycerin, Michelle, but like my brain went like nitroglycerin. No, it didn't explode. But where they like flash freeze crackers and you breathe smoke and stuff. I remember that happened one time. And so, we all got our little group of friends going, and then I met my very first art friends. I met them actually through Scuba, but they also were parts of the anime club, and so I'm gonna nickname them because I've never really talked about them much except for one in passing. And I'm gonna call them Pocky, Kunai, and iPod. So Pocky, Kunai, and iPod were my only like little artist friends, and Pocky's older sibling was also an artist, and they were really, really, really good at it. They were a really good artist. They were like all of our idols. And Pocky's older sibling was obviously older, so they weren't a freshman. And so, it was good times. We got to like learn things, we got to experiment, we got to talk about characters and stories, and most of our characters and stories were all fan OCs. All of them. I remember Pocky and I even had this really, really, really bad, like I think about it, but now it was so bad. But back then it was like so, so cool. This idea of like a Kingdom Hearts RP kind of thing going on, where like all of our friends would end up like not being heartless, but we'd all be like parts of different things, and it was this whole shebang. So trust me, that character was a mess. I should see if I can find art of her somewhere and try to redraw it, because that'll be fun to try to redesign and make her not look disgusting. So skip to my sophomore year, and the anime club, the president was also an artist, and she had a like how to draw anime coloring kind of cool so yawny. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so yawny today. Don't know why. I'm just must be really relaxed or really tired or exhausted. You know, life. So she was super, super nice. And for the life of me, I can't remember her name. Like, it's not that I'm like trying to think of a nickname. I could not remember her name when I was writing this. And so she's the one who actually taught us about, like, you know, what types of marker paper to use, what types of inking pens to use, what smears, what don't, waiting for things to, you know, dry. And at this point, I had taken my first art class this year. So I was like learning art techniques, and I was getting back into art, and I was feeling my jive, and it was great. You know, I was dating Cody. I started working on Marked. Everything was going great. We had so much fun. But it was sadly the president's last year that year. And so she graduated, and then we go to my junior year. So junior year, all of a sudden, this girl who had never been in anime club before, but she was in my year. And I remember being like, oh, maybe she transferred, and like, I'm trying to rationalize, but I've literally never seen this girl. She's never come to the anime club. She's never done this, that. And it suddenly became super gatekeepy. Back before gatekeepy was even a word. All of a sudden, anime club got, like, separated into, like, little cliques, and it was like a weird, natural, but not natural cliquey thing. Before, like, there were no really cliques. There were people that were closer friends than others, but there weren't really cliques, you know. There was just like, oh, okay, we'll sit next to our closer friends, and then we'll watch anime, or we'll trade manga. I remember one time we even had, like, a reading competition where, like, we wanted to see who could read manga the fastest, like an issue of manga, manga, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I have always called it manga, but you know, where you would read the fastest and retain the information. It was, like, really fun. We had a lot of fun. But then junior year came around and that all changed. You know, suddenly there was, like, no talking when the anime was going on, which, like, I mean, yeah, you don't want to be rude, but I mean, we would, like, whisper and stuff. You know, we would talk about other things, or some kids would do homework while listening, or, like, passively, you know, doing stuff. And so went the, like, you know, the voting on which anime we're gonna watch, and this and that, and I must be wondering, Michelle, what the fuck are you talking about? This was an art club story. It is. So we started not so much watching the anime anymore. And there's my cat. Of course, that's can't be a Michi video without my cat making a mess of shit. But what ended up happening was we started noticing that the cliques were following into the little art, like, how to draw sessions. Now, it wasn't every week that we had the little how to draw art club anime thing. You know, that was definitely more like an every other week kind of thing, or blah, blah, blah. They'd do it with the anime going on. And that had also become very cliquey. And it had become cliquey with a group of girls that had never been in the anime club before. Again, we, you know, Pocky, Kunai, and iPod and I were very confused because there was always, like, a group of, like, 4 of us that not including us, I should say, so 4 more, where we were the artists in the anime club, you know, and we all just had fun, and the president taught us stuff and techniques, and we would share supplies, and everything was great, and we had all gotten used to, like, you know, sharing is caring. I remember I had a bunch of Prismacolor markers, and at this point, my only Copics I had, I believe I got my first set after I quit. Yeah, I got my first big set after I quit. So I only had, like, a tiny little Chow set that a friend of mine bought me for my birthday last year, which I still have some of those Chows, not knocking them. I didn't really have enough to share. And, you know, I remember we were working on our characters and working on ideas, and my cat's playing with my fucking mail. Banks, you have toys. Stamp. So we were doing all of this, and we were working. And I remember, like, there were never, like, contests or anything, but all of a sudden we started noticing that the little cliques were no longer multiple. It was 2 of them. It was myself, Pocky, Kunai, and iPod. And iPod had already started to stop going. Like, she started to stop doing the art stuff. So it was just Pocky, Kunai, and myself. And so we're there, and we're kind of like, hey, are we going to, like, learn new techniques? Or do you guys want to share supplies? Like, oh, you know, I see you're using an ink pen. Can we try ink pens? We've never done that. And then they're like, no. And some of them wouldn't even talk to us. Like, full on, would not say a word Like, I remember there being a couple more girls, and they were all girls, which is the weird thing. Like, our little group had a couple, like, we did have a couple guys in it, and then those just, we honored away too. And it went down to just Pocky and I at a certain point. Everyone else had quit, and we were just like, this isn't really fun anymore. We've got so much more stuff to worry about. Nah, nah, nah. And then, here's the weird thing. I don't remember how this conversation happened, because back in high school, I was not the way I am now. I was not confrontational. It took a lot for me to have balls and to, like, say my opinion, or I had to be, like, at a breaking point. So it wasn't like we were causing trouble or anything. We were kind of confused. And so the president comes up to Pocky and I, and the president tells us how it's like, well, the other girls aren't really comfortable with your group here because you guys aren't Asian. And we were both like, what? They're like, yeah, since we are Asian, it's kind of weird having a black girl and a white girl here. And it was one of those, like, I remember we both were just shocked. We're like, so you're racist? And this was Pocky talking. I was thinking it, but Pocky fucking said it. And the girl was like, no, I don't care. And she used the colorblind term. But she's like, I just feel like anime should only be drawn by people who are from Asia. And so then again, wish I had my balls I did now, because I would have asked him, like, oh, what part of Asia are you from? Because I thought that you were born in LA, from what you told us. You've only ever been here, and you've never been to Japan or any other country. You've only stayed in America, which is nothing wrong with. But, and people must be like, oh, well, you must have gotten so pissed and gone right to the teacher there and told the teacher. No, that's not what happened at all. We both just quit. And that was it. That was the end of it. And it's super anticlimactic. But again, this was the same year. At this point, this was the year that I had Mrs. Twilight, or Miss Bella, whatever I called her, the teacher that didn't want to teach to read the Twilight book, And so I ended up having to take summer school. And I remember me and my classmates in that time, in that year, we had the balls to talk to somebody about it. And we were told, there's nothing we can do. So we didn't even try. We were just like, nope, this is going to happen. This is it. This is it. And then here's the funny thing, right? So we never talked to this girl again, never talked to the other presidents, nothing. And shortly after that, everyone else in our friend group stopped going to anime club. That I know of. I think maybe a couple people still went every now and then, but our group just didn't go. And it wasn't a like boycott anime club. It was just for like, it's not fun. We're not watching cool, interesting, not known anime. Because that was one cool thing that was out there too, is we would watch like really obscure stuff, really old stuff. So we get to experience new things than just, here's what's on Toonami. Here's what's, here's what we can get at home pretty much. Because we didn't really have as many streaming services as we do now. The Crunchyroll did not exist back then, so it was very hard to kind of get these things. Unless you wanted to shell out the ass to go get DVDs. So, we were kind of bummed. And so then, skip to my senior year. I'm just feeling, well, what do you mean? What's happening your senior year? So, I had the president in one of my advanced art classes. The current one, the racist one. Oh, I'm wrong, the not racist one. Still sounds pretty racist to me, but that's not here or there. And I remember being like, I actually was really worried that stuff might happen, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with drama. I've dealt with so much drama. Nah. And luckily enough, I met my best friend there. We had a great time. We bonded over Portal and BioShock, and we made our own stories, and we had more characters, and we roleplayed together. So I hardly remembered the president existed. And it was really funny because I remember towards the end of my senior year, so right around Anime Expo tickets were going on sale, and the president comes up to me and my group out of nowhere. She had not talked to us since we'd left. And she was like, hey guys, did you know that the anime club is trying to raise money to get AX tickets? And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And they're like, oh, well, do you want to help? You're a part of it. And I'm like, no, I go every year anyway. And she was just like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, you don't want to help support the club? And I'm like, no, I don't. And that was the last time I ever saw it. It might have been a really bitchy thing to be like that, but you know, I don't know, telling someone that they can't have an art style because of their race, it seems pretty racist to me and pretty rude. And then to come after not talking to us for over weeks, didn't ask us why we quit, did nothing, which was really funny because we actually dive bombed the anime club photo for the previous year, for our junior year, because we were like, oh, we still want to be in the photo. But yeah, we weren't in it my senior year. None of us were. And so that's my story of how I quit the only ever art club I was a part of. And me and my friends tried making like our own club, but it wasn't an art club, and that also ended brutally. So yeah, all I had to say. Hope you guys enjoyed my walk down memory lane, remembering the wonderful racists in my life. And as always, guys, I will see you next time. Bye.